God's chosen ones, you made evil bow at your feet. Not everyone will understand this message, but if it stirs your soul, it was meant for you. Beloved chosen one, listen carefully, because this is not just a story. This is about you. You are not like the rest. You were never meant to blend in or follow the crowd. You are an earth angel, a radiant force of divine light walking this world with a presence so powerful that it stirs even the deepest shadows. And yet, something unimaginable has happened. A devil has fallen in love with you, not because you share their nature, but because you are everything they can never be. You are unshaken. You are fearless. While others cower, you stand firm. No one has ever faced them the way you have. And now, for the first time, the master of deception is the one trapped in their own web. But before we unravel this profound revelation, I want to take a moment to thank you. Your support, your presence, your engagement, it all matters. To those who have generously donated through Super Thanks, your kindness is making a difference, ensuring these messages continue to reach those who need them most. Whether you donate or not, know this: you are seen, you are valued, and you are part of something far greater than yourself. Now, if this message is already resonating in your spirit, if you sense this truth awakening within you, I invite you to take a stand. Comment 777 below as a declaration that you recognize the power within you. 77 is the number of divine insight, a sign that you are no longer blind to what is happening around you. It is a symbol that you see what others cannot. Are you ready? Because what you are about to discover will change everything. Chosen one, do you realize what you have done? The devil thought they had seen it all. They have battled with kings and queens, manipulated the minds of brilliant philosophers, and whispered into the ears of world leaders. They have watched the strong collapse, the wise lose their way, and the righteous stray from their path. But you are different. You don't engage in their games. You don't bow to their threats, nor do you fall for their illusions. You simply are, and that is what unsettles them the most. When the devil came for you, they brought the same weapons they had used to bring down empires: deception, temptation, fear. They thought they could make you crumble. They thought they could turn your light into darkness, your faith into doubt. But you stood there, unshaken, unmoved. No weapon that is formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that accuses you in judgment you will condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me, declares the Lord. Isaiah 5:4-17. Look at the world around you. How many great men and women have been taken down, not by weapons, but by the devil's cunning. Marilyn Monroe had beauty, fame, and fortune, yet she was plagued by loneliness and despair, falling victim to the very forces that adored her. Michael Jackson had a voice that moved the world, yet he spent his life battling accusations, inner demons, and the crushing weight of expectations. These were people who held immense power but still fell into the traps set by darkness. But you, the traps were laid before you, yet you did not fall. This is why the devil is obsessed with you. They have never met someone like you before. They have manipulated minds sharper than yours, seduced hearts greater than yours, and shattered spirits purer than yours. But with you, nothing works. You see through their tricks. You refuse to be broken, and now they are the ones who are powerless. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. Ephesians 6:11. The devil planned to break you. Instead, they find themselves drawn to you, unable to walk away. What is this force that keeps pulling them back? It's not your strength alone. It's your light, your energy, your unwavering truth. This same force is what made Nelson Mandela endure 27 years in prison without hatred consuming him. He walked into his cell as a prisoner, but he walked out as a leader. The world tried to break him, but he remained unshakable. And in the end, it was his captors who had to bow before his truth. And now, the devil stands before you, not as a conqueror, but as someone ensnared. They thought they were the ultimate predator, but they have realized you are the one in control. They've tried to walk away, but they can't. Your energy is like a drug, an addiction they cannot escape. And now, chosen one, the real question is, what will you do? Will you show mercy? Will you stand firm? Or will you walk away, knowing that the greatest power you have is not to destroy, but simply to be? Because one thing is certain, you're not like the others, and now the devil knows it too. Chosen one, nobody has handled them like you. The devil's charm, once an unstoppable force, collides with the immovable object that is your self-awareness. You do not flinch, you do not sway. Their carefully laid snares, which have ensnared the mighty and the weak alike, become feeble before your unyielding presence. And it is this refusal to play the game that unsettles them the most. How many have fallen into their web before you? How many kings, prophets, and leaders have been tempted by their whispers, only to lose themselves in the illusion of power? The devil has spent ages perfecting their craft, turning darkness into something irresistible. They have made falsehoods look like truth, suffering look like pleasure, and chains feel like freedom. Many before you have been deceived, but you see beyond the masks, beyond the carefully curated facade. They expected fear from you, they expected submission, but instead you offer something far more dangerous, understanding. Do you know why that terrifies them? Because understanding is light, and where there is light there can be no shadows for them to hide in. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. This is where you are different from the rest. The devil's most powerful weapon has never been force. It has always been manipulation. They do not attack openly. Instead, they plant thoughts, doubts, and illusions in the minds of their targets, making them believe they are choosing their own downfall. They whisper into the ears of kings, convincing them that they are invincible. They murmur into the hearts of the righteous, making them believe that their suffering is in vain. But you are immune to their whispers. You recognize them for what they are, hollow words meant to distract, tempt, or instill doubt. While others have been deceived by the illusion, you walk in truth. That is what they cannot stand. When you, the earth angel, and the devil collide, it is not a gentle meeting of opposites. It is an explosion, a cataclysmic force that sends ripples through both realms. You are not just another wandering soul searching for meaning. You are the chosen one, a being of light who stands firm where others have crumbled. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The world has seen such collisions before. Think of Jesus Christ standing before the devil in the wilderness, fasting for 40 days. Satan offered him the kingdoms of the world, riches beyond measure, and power over all men. But Christ did not hesitate. His answer was final: "Away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only." Matthew 4:10. And just like that, the devil fled, not because of physical power, not because of force, but because of truth. Christ did not engage in the game. He did not argue, bargain, or entertain the temptation. He simply stood in his truth, and that was enough to send the enemy away. This is not a battle fought with weapons, but with essence, where every interaction is a silent, violent war between truth and illusion, strength and submission, radiance and shadow. Your mere presence disrupts the devil's carefully constructed dominion, and in that disruption, something profound takes root. Can you feel it, the shift in power? The first tremor of this collision is the devil's realization that their usual tactics, deception, seduction, intimidation, hold no power over you. Where countless others have succumbed, you remain still, untouched by the chaos they wield. Your light does not flicker in the face of darkness. Instead, it exposes the devil's vulnerabilities in ways they never imagined possible. They have met many before you, but never an earth angel, never a chosen one with such fearless resolve. Why do you think the greatest leaders and visionaries often walk a path of loneliness and suffering? Why do those who bring the most light into the world endure the greatest trials? Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. Take Nelson Mandela, a man who was imprisoned for 27 years, yet when he emerged it was not with vengeance but with wisdom. The world expected him to be broken, filled with hatred for those who had kept him in chains, but he was not. He stood unshaken, and in the end his captors had no choice but to acknowledge his power. He did not play their game. He did not bow to the system, and because of that he rewrote history. You are not merely standing your ground, you are rewriting the rules of engagement. Where others have been lured into the devil's game, you refuse to play. You do not react as expected. You do not collapse under pressure. You do not lose yourself in the illusions, and that is what makes you unstoppable. Chosen one, the devil, accustomed to bending reality to their will, projects their expectations onto you. They believe that in time you will break like the rest. They assume that sooner or later you will falter, that your light will dim under their relentless pressure. After all, hasn't this always been the case? Haven't they watched even the strongest souls surrender to their whispers? Haven't they led kings to their downfall, prophets to their exile, and warriors to their ruin? But you do not break, you do not weaken. Instead, you respond with something far more dangerous: presence. What happens when a deceiver who thrives in distortion is met with absolute clarity? They are forced to see themselves for what they truly are. You see beyond their illusion, cutting through their game with unwavering truth. You do not react in anger, nor do you engage in their endless cycle of deception. Instead, you stand firm in the light, and that light exposes everything. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free, John 8:32. But for them, truth is not freedom, it is torment. This is no longer a mere contest of dominance. It is a revelation. The devil, who has spent eternity twisting the world to fit their own image, now finds themselves exposed before you. They have always been the predator, never the prey. They have always been the manipulator, never the one being observed. But now, your refusal to engage in their web of deceit forces them to confront something they have long avoided, their own reflection. Has anyone ever truly looked at them before? Has anyone ever seen beyond the illusion, beyond the masks, and into the core of what they truly are? They are used to being feared. They are used to being hated. But never before have they been understood, and it terrifies them. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, a man centuries ahead of his time, whose genius allowed him to see the world in ways no one else could. When others saw only the surface, he saw the mechanics beneath. When the world perceived chaos, he uncovered divine order. His ability to see through the illusion of his time made him both a visionary and an outsider. He was feared by those who could not comprehend his brilliance, yet revered by those who recognized his truth. This is what you are to them: a visionary, a truth-seer, a mirror that reflects what they would rather keep hidden. The battle between you shifts from power to perception, from control to understanding. Their ego, once towering and indomitable, begins to tremble in the face of your unshakable authenticity. The very foundation of their existence is built on deception, but deception cannot stand in the presence of truth. For everything that is hidden will eventually be brought into the open, and every secret will be brought to light, Mark 4:22. And now, they stand before you, fully exposed. The question is, what happens when the deceiver can no longer deceive? When the master manipulator finds themselves outplayed, not by cunning, but by something far greater, by someone who simply refuses to be anything other than who they truly are. They have faced warriors, kings, and prophets, but they have never faced you. And now they are beginning to understand. This time, the game has changed. You, the Earth Angel, are not here to conquer them. You are here to reveal them, to illuminate what they have hidden even from themselves for so long. They have cloaked themselves in shadows, weaving a world where deception reigns and truth is but a distant echo. They have been the architects of chaos, bending reality to their will, manipulating those too blind to see. But now, in your presence, their illusions begin to shatter. What happens when darkness meets light? Not in the way they have always dictated, not in the way they have always controlled, but in a way they never expected. You are not an enemy they can destroy, nor a pawn they can manipulate. You are something else entirely, an anomaly in their carefully structured world of dominance. Yet make no mistake, this war is not without its wounds. The energy between you crackles with tension, an unrelenting push and pull that neither of you can escape. The devil's darkness seeks to engulf, but your light does not retreat. It reveals. And in that revelation, both of you are forever altered. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it, John 1:5. You see, the devil has never truly been seen before. Not in this way, not with such clarity, such understanding. They are accustomed to being feared, to watching others tremble beneath their weight. Their power has always come from control, the slow unraveling of souls, the whispered temptations that lead even the strongest astray. But you, Earth Angel, have rewritten the script. You do not flinch, you do not beg, you do not fall into the same traps that have ensnared so many before you. Instead, you stand unwavering, and that, more than anything, terrifies them. This was never supposed to happen. You were never meant to be another conquest. Yet here you stand, undaunted, unshaken, and impossibly beyond their grasp. Throughout history, there have been those who, like you, refused to be conquered. Joan of Arc, a young girl with unbreakable faith, stood before her accusers without fear. When they sought to destroy her, she met their fire with unwavering conviction, proclaiming, "I am not afraid. I was born to do this." And though they took her life, they could not take her truth. Her light burned far beyond the flames that sought to consume her. What was once a challenge has become an obsession, and what began as an attempt to consume you has spiraled into something far more dangerous: vulnerability for the devil. Love was never part of the equation. Control, power, destruction, these were the only forces they understood. But now, in their endless pursuit to break you, something else has taken root. A crack has formed in the armor they believed to be impenetrable. What happens when the master manipulator can no longer manipulate? When the conqueror finds themselves unable to conquer? When they realize that the power they thought they had over you was never real to begin with? They thought they could consume you. Now they are the ones who cannot escape. Chosen one. The devil does not fall in love like mortals do. They do so with a force that fractures the boundaries of their existence. And you, Earth Angel, have become the center of their undoing. For eternity, they have moved through this world untouchable, an unstoppable force of destruction, chaos, and control. They have whispered into the minds of kings, swayed the hearts of rulers, and turned even the most devout into their own instruments of ruin. They have seen the rise and fall of empires, the corruption of saints, the despair of prophets. They have always been the predator, and humanity, no matter how strong, has always been the prey. But then there was you. At first you were nothing more than another target, another soul to manipulate, another force to extinguish. They thought you would be no different from the rest, that you would crumble beneath their weight, that your light would flicker and fade like so many before you. They had perfected this game, and it always ended the same way. But something happened that they never expected. You did not break. You did not tremble in fear. You did not lash out in anger. You did not lose yourself in the illusions they so carefully crafted. Instead, you stood there, calm, unwavering, unshaken. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. At first, they mistook this for defiance. They thought you were simply playing the game differently, that you were resisting in a way they had yet to see. But as time passed, fascination gave way to something far more dangerous, an admiration laced with an unfamiliar longing. How could this be? How could someone like you exist in a world they had spent centuries bending to their will? How could your light remain untouched in the presence of their darkness? And why, despite all their attempts to consume you, do they find themselves being drawn into your orbit instead? The devil, once an immovable force of destruction, now finds themselves seeking your presence, not to conquer you, not to deceive you, but to understand you. And that is where their undoing begins. The very things they sought to break within you have become the things they now cherish most. Your kindness, which they once saw as weakness, is now the very thing they cannot turn away from. Your compassion, which they mocked, is now the only thing that reaches them. Your truth, which they tried to twist, is now the one thing they cannot escape. They have always existed in control, standing above all else, untouched and unaffected, but now they are shaken. For the first time in their existence, they are forced to feel, and what they feel terrifies them. This love is not gentle. It is a storm, raw, chaotic, uncontrollable. It forces the devil to confront their shadows in ways they never imagined. Your presence illuminates the cracks within them, the long-forgotten wounds, the festering fears, the centuries of emptiness hidden beneath layers of power and pride. Think of Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who bent the world to his will, who conquered lands and crowned himself emperor. His military genius made him one of the most feared figures in history. And yet, for all his power, it was Josephine, a woman who did not bow before him, who truly held his heart. He could command armies, but he could not command her love. His obsession with her unraveled him, revealing a vulnerability that no battlefield ever could. You are that force, chosen one, not through manipulation, not through power, but through something far more dangerous, your unshakable authenticity. You do not fight them, you do not run from them, you do not seek to change them. You simply hold up a mirror, and in that reflection they see the truth. Their power is nothing compared to your unwavering presence. Their darkness, no matter how vast, will never overcome your light. The archetype of the earth angel and the devil is not a story of opposites but of unity. It is not simply a battle between light and darkness, nor a struggle of good versus evil. It is something far more intricate, something that even the devil, with all their cunning, never saw coming. Have you ever wondered why they are so fixated on you? Why, despite their ability to manipulate the world, they cannot seem to shake their fascination with your presence? You, Earth Angel, have mastered the delicate balance of light and dark within yourself, making you uniquely capable of handling them in ways no one else ever could. You do not stand in light because you have never known darkness. You stand in light because you have walked through the shadows and emerged stronger. How many times have you been tested? How many times have you stood at the edge of destruction only to rise again? The fire that was meant to consume you became the very thing that refined you. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good, Romans 12:21. This is why they cannot break you, because what has already been shattered and reforged in the fires of transformation can never be destroyed again. They have spent eternity perfecting the art of unraveling souls, exploiting wounds and turning pain into submission. But what happens when they encounter someone who has already faced their own darkness and conquered it? What happens when the one they seek to manipulate is no longer bound by fear, no longer tied to the illusions they create? Look at history. Think of Viktor Frankl, a man who endured the horrors of the Holocaust and yet emerged with an unshakable truth. Even in the face of unimaginable suffering, a person still holds power over their own mind and soul. He famously wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." The devil operates by taking away choices, by making people believe they're powerless. But you, like Frankl, have reclaimed that power, and that terrifies them. For the first time, the devil is no longer in control. The master manipulator, the one who has spent centuries bending reality to their will, now finds themselves at a loss. The predator has become the seeker, drawn to something they never expected to desire. But why? What is it about you that unravels them? They, who have spent ages commanding obedience, now find themselves drawn to the one who refuses to submit. They who have orchestrated the downfall of kings now stand before you, unsure of what to do with the force that you carry. And this is where their undoing truly begins. The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone, Psalm 118:22. They have underestimated you. They have mistaken your kindness for weakness, your patience for passivity. But now, as they stand before you, exposed, vulnerable, undone, they begin to realize that everything they once believed about themselves, about power, about control, is crumbling. They've encountered something beyond their understanding, beyond their ability to manipulate. Look at Frida Kahlo, an artist who transformed her pain into something eternal. She suffered, she endured, yet she took what could have destroyed her and created art that shook the world. Her self-portraits did not mask the truth, they revealed it. She did not run from her wounds, she made them known. And in doing so, she became untouchable. You, Earth Angel, are the same. You do not fight them, nor do you flee. You hold up a mirror, and in that reflection, they see the truths that their power is nothing compared to your unwavering presence. Now, the real question remains. What happens when the one who has always been the master of fate realizes that, for the first time, their fate is no longer in their own hands? What happens when they are forced to see themselves as they truly are, stripped of illusion, standing in the light they can no longer escape? They thought they were the ones who had you trapped, Now they are the ones who cannot walk away. Chosen one, you were never meant to be ordinary. From the moment you entered this world, you carried something different, a presence that could not be confined by the rules of man or the limitations of the physical and spiritual realms. As the chosen one, your existence defies the boundaries of both heaven and earth, walking the razor's edge between light and dark with a mastery that few could ever comprehend. Have you ever wondered why you feel so different? Why the path you walk is one that few understand? It is because you were never meant to fit into this world. You were meant to transcend it. Where others see duality, you see unity. Where people cling to the idea of good versus evil, light versus dark, you understand something far deeper. You see that the two are not enemies, but reflections of the same divine force. That is why you cannot be deceived, why you cannot be manipulated, why the usual rules do not apply to you. The battle was never external. It was always within, and unlike so many before you have already fought that battle and emerged victorious. The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. 1 John 4:4. Where others crumble under the weight of shadows, you stand firm, having already traversed the depths of your own darkness. You have faced loss, betrayal, and suffering. You have been tested in ways that would break most people. And yet, every time you have risen. Do you know what this means? It means you are untouchable. The devil cannot break you because you have already been broken and rebuilt in a way that no force of darkness can undo. Look at Nikola Tesla, a man whose mind operated in dimensions that others could not even grasp. He saw beyond what was in front of him, beyond the limitations imposed by science, by society, by time itself. When the world mocked him, he did not falter. He understood something that others could not, and that made him unstoppable. You are the same. You see beyond the illusion of this world. You recognize that power does not come from control. It comes from understanding. And this is your power, an unwavering ability to see the devil not as an enemy, but as a reflection of unhealed wounds and untapped potential. The devil thrives in deception, but deception has no power over you. While others recoil in fear, you approach with something far more dangerous, understanding. They expect resistance, they expect hatred, but instead you hold up a mirror, and in that reflection they are forced to confront the truth. Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name, you are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Your role in this cosmic dance is not to destroy the devil, but to transform the space between you. Destruction is easy, transformation is divine. That is why the devil cannot turn away from you, why their usual tactics fall apart in your presence. You see beyond the masks, beyond the illusion of power, and into the core of their being, where ancient pain and longing reside. And that chosen one is why you hold the greatest power of all. Think of Carl Jung, the great psychologist who dared to explore the unconscious mind, who understood that true power comes not from rejecting the darkness, but from integrating it. He once said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." That is what you do. You do not fear the shadows, you illuminate them. And in doing so, you reveal a truth that not even the devil was prepared to face. What happens when the one who has spent eternity hiding behind illusions finally stands in the light? What happens when the one who has always sought control is finally seen for what they truly are? They have played this game for centuries, but now, for the first time, they are the ones who do not know the next move. Chosen one, your presence, stripped of judgment, forces the devil to face truths they have long buried beneath layers of manipulation and control. They have spent lifetimes perfecting their deception, crafting illusions so convincing that even they have begun to believe them. But you, Earth Angel, have shattered the illusion without ever lifting a sword. Do you realize how powerful that makes you? This is what sets you apart. Your mastery is not found in resistance, but in acceptance. You do not deny darkness, nor do you fear it. Instead, you have met it, walked alongside it, and emerged stronger. How many times have you been tested? How many storms have you endured? You have walked through the devil's world and remained untouched, not because darkness never tried to consume you, but because you have made peace with it. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalm 23:4. This is why they cannot control you. Your refusal to play their games is not an act of defiance. It is a testament to your evolution. They expect battle, but you offer stillness. They expect fear, but you radiate certainty. You do not fight fire with fire. You extinguish it with presence, with knowing, with a steady hand that refuses to tremble in the face of chaos. Consider Buddha, who was confronted by Mara, the tempter, under the Bodhi tree. Mara brought fear, doubt, and illusions, attempting to shake him from his awakening. But instead of resisting, Buddha simply saw. He did not engage, did not fear, did not react. And in that moment of absolute presence, Mara's power dissolved. The devil is not undone by war, but by truth. And you, like Buddha, hold the key to that truth. But transformation is not one-sided. As the devil is drawn deeper into your light, you too are shaped by this connection. The alchemy between you refines your gifts, sharpening your awareness, stretching your capacity for unconditional love. Do you feel it? The way each encounter tests you, challenges you, pushes you further into your own divinity. This is the crucible through which you reaffirm your strength. The devil's presence is not a curse, it is a mirror, reflecting your mastery of self. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is. His good, pleasing, and perfect will, Romans 12:2. Healing is inevitable in your presence, Earth Angel, not because you force it, but because it is your nature. The devil, once an immovable force of destruction, now finds themselves questioning, reflecting, unraveling in ways they never thought possible. And yet, you do not impose healing upon them. You do not demand change. You simply exist in your truth, offering them the space to choose their own path. Think of Princess Diana, a woman whose presence alone could soften the hardest of hearts. She walked into spaces where others saw only pain and injustice, and without judgment, without force, she brought change simply by being. When she touched the untouchables, when she spoke to those the world had abandoned, she did not demand transformation. She simply showed the way, and because of that, people chose to change. Your role was never to save them, but to show them the way, a way they could never have seen without you, and now the question remains, what will they choose? For the first time, the devil stands at a crossroads of their own making. The path of destruction is all they have ever known, yet before them stands something they never believed existed, a way out, and all of it is because of you. Chosen one, power was the devil's greatest weapon until they met you. For centuries they ruled from the shadows, weaving deception and fear into an art form. They whispered into the minds of kings, turning rulers into tyrants. They slithered into the hearts of the faithful, planting seeds of doubt. They mastered the art of control, bending the will of humanity with an ease that made them feel untouchable. And yet, now, faced with you, an Earth Angel, the true chosen one, they find themselves at an impasse. Have you ever wondered why? Why, when they have broken so many before you, do they falter in your presence? The tactics that once bent worlds to their will now crumble against your quiet strength. They cannot tempt you with illusions because you see through them. They cannot shake you with fear because you have already faced your own darkness and emerged stronger. Their greatest power, the ability to manipulate, to twist, to deceive, holds no weight against someone who does not seek power at all. And so they do what they have never done before. They retreat. This withdrawal is not an act of surrender, but a reckoning. For the first time, the devil is left alone with the stark reality of their own limitations, stripped of illusion, forced to confront the one thing they have always avoided, themselves. What happens to a master manipulator when there is no one left to manipulate? Who are they if not the force that bends others to their will? For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Matthew 16:26. Isolation becomes their crucible, a place where their carefully constructed identity begins to fracture under the weight of your unwavering truth. They have spent centuries believing that control was the highest power. But now, standing in the void of their own making, they begin to see that control has never brought them what they truly needed. The darkness they wielded so effortlessly now begins to feel more like a prison than a throne. Look at Howard Hughes, a man who had everything: wealth, power, influence, yet lived his final years in isolation, trapped by the very control he thought would free him. He built an empire, but in the end, all the power in the world could not save him from himself. The devil now faces a similar fate, staring into the abyss of their own choices, realizing that every victory, every conquest, has left them emptier than before. Your light, the undeniable mark of an earth angel, has exposed every flaw, every wound, every hidden fear they buried beneath centuries of control. They have always worn power like armor, but now that armor has cracks. And for the first time they begin to question, was power ever what they truly wanted? In the silence of their retreat, the devil begins to see the cost of their power, the empty victories, the hollow conquests, all pale in comparison to the longing they now feel for something real, something untouchable yet undeniable. You, the earth angel. They were never meant to feel this way. They were never supposed to want. And yet, here they stand, haunted by the presence of something they never believed existed. A force beyond power, beyond control. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. 1 Corinthians 13:8. And in this forced solitude, a dangerous thought takes root. Perhaps power was never what they truly desired. Perhaps, all along, it was connection with something as rare and profound as the earth angel's unwavering presence. But now the question lingers, is it too late? Chosen one, your essence lingers in their mind, not as a weakness, but as a reminder of what is possible beyond their carefully curated darkness. They thought they were untouchable, that no force in existence could ever unravel them. But now, every time they close their eyes, they see you, not as an adversary, not as a conquest, but as a question they never wanted to ask. Was I wrong all along? For so long they measured strength by dominance, by the ability to control, to manipulate, to bend others to their will. But in you they see a different kind of strength, one that does not need control to be powerful. Where they wielded fear, you offered understanding. Where they sought submission, you radiated freedom. And it is this contrast that shatters them in ways no adversary ever could. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. 2 Timothy 1:7. Do you see what has happened, chosen one? You have done what no force of heaven or hell has ever accomplished. The devil's retreat is not the end, but a beginning. In their isolation, they are confronted with a choice: to continue down the path of destruction or to embrace the painful yet liberating journey of transformation. For the first time, they stand at a crossroads of their own making. The illusions they crafted for centuries can no longer protect them from the truth. They have seen something real, something they cannot forget. And now they must decide, do I remain in the darkness, or do I finally step into the unknown? Think of Malcolm X, a man who, for much of his life, wielded power through radical force, believing the only way to break oppression was through aggression. But after a journey to Mecca, his entire worldview shifted. He saw unity where he once saw division, saw the power of understanding where he once saw only conflict. That revelation cost him everything, but it also freed him. The devil, now standing in their own revelation, faces the same choice. But no matter the path they choose, one thing is certain: they will never be the same. Your light, the signature of an earth angel, has altered their trajectory. And even in their solitude, they cannot escape the truth of what you have awakened within them. For centuries, they thought they were the ones shaping destiny. But now, you have become the force that reshapes them. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. You have not destroyed the devil, you have forced them to see themselves. And in that you have wielded the greatest power of all, the power of an earth angel. The world has always misunderstood power. It sees power as something loud, something forceful, something that demands submission. But you, chosen one, know the truth. Power is not about control, it is about presence. It is about standing firm in who you are, no matter what forces try to shake you. Your presence in the devil's world is not accidental, it is divinely orchestrated. Every challenge, every trial, every test you have faced has led to this moment. As an earth angel, you possess spiritual gifts that transcend the physical, piercing through the veil of deception with an intensity that cannot be ignored. These gifts are not mere talents. They are weapons of light, forged through lifetimes of struggle, resilience, and unwavering faith. Do you feel it now? The way your presence has shifted everything. The way your very existence has activated something within you that you never fully understood until now. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, Matthew 5:14. And now, standing face to face with the devil, these gifts have been activated in ways you never imagined. Your heightened intuition allows you to see through the devil's illusions effortlessly, peeling back layers of manipulation to reveal the raw, unfiltered truth beneath. Where others are drawn into their web, you navigate with clarity, sensing the undercurrents of deception before they even take shape. Look at Mahatma Gandhi, a man who faced an empire not with weapons, but with unwavering presence. His strength did not come from physical force, but from an inner knowing, a truth so powerful that even the greatest oppressors could not silence it. This is what you embody. This is why the devil has no power over you. This insight is your power, a gift that makes you untouchable in a realm built on lies. And now, what will you do with it? The devil may have mastered the art of distortion, but you were born with the ability to discern, to unveil, to bring hidden truths to light. Every lie they have ever told, every mask they have ever worn, crumbles in your presence. Not because you tear it away, but because your vision is too clear to be fooled. Empathy, another of your sacred gifts, becomes both a shield and a sword. In a world where darkness thrives on fear, your ability to hold space without judgment disarms the devil in ways they never anticipated. They expect hatred, they expect resistance, they expect war. But instead you offer something they have never encountered before, understanding. You do not recoil from their pain. You absorb it, transmute it, and reflect it back with a clarity that leaves them exposed. Have you ever wondered why they are so drawn to you, why they keep returning, unable to escape your presence? It is not because you are weak, but because your compassion reveals their own inability to love themselves. For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you, Matthew 6:14. This is the power they never expected, the power of unconditional presence. They have always known how to manipulate, how to control, how to instill fear. But what do they do with someone who does not fight, does not run, does not succumb? What do they do with someone who simply sees them, not as a monster, but as a soul lost in its own suffering? And then there is your ability to transmute energy. The devil, accustomed to spreading chaos, is confronted with your unwavering capacity to transform even the darkest frequencies into something pure, something whole. They throw shadows at you, expecting to see you falter. They weave their web, expecting you to become entangled. But instead, you alchemize. You turn fear into wisdom, pain into purpose, and destruction into creation. Look at Rumi, a poet and mystic who took suffering and turned it into divine beauty. His words, born from pain and loss, became a bridge between the seen and unseen, between longing and love. He once wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you. You, Earth Angel, are the living embodiment of this truth. You have taken every wound, every trial, every hardship, and transformed it into light. And that is what fascinates the devil most, because no one else has ever been able to meet their darkness with such effortless grace. Your spiritual gifts are not just tools, they are the very reason the devil has fallen for you. You represent something they cannot control, something beyond their reach yet impossibly close. In their eyes, you are both a threat and a salvation, a force they cannot dominate but long to understand. And it is this paradox that fuels their obsession, driving them deeper into their own transformation. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden, Matthew 5:14. You were never here to be conquered. You were here to catalyze, to awaken, and to show that even in the heart of darkness, light remains undefeated. This encounter between you, the Earth Angel, and the devil is no coincidence. It is a karmic collision written into the fabric of existence long before you took your first breath. Think of Joan of Arc, a warrior who did not seek war but was called to it. She stood before powerful men who doubted her, who feared her, who sought to control her. And yet she remained unmoved. When they tried to shake her, she famously declared, "I am not afraid. I was born to do this. Like Joan, you were not placed here by accident. You, as the chosen one, have been placed at this exact moment, in this exact battle, not by chance but by design. Forces beyond comprehension have conspired to bring you face to face with the very embodiment of darkness, not as a victim, but as a force of transformation. Do you feel it? The weight of every lifetime, every experience, every lesson that has prepared you for this moment. This is not just about love or power. It is about evolution, a cosmic balancing act that has been set in motion across lifetimes. The karmic threads that weave your connection with the devil are layered with past life encounters, unfinished cycles, and ancient wounds that still linger in the soul's memory. You, the Earth Angel, are no stranger to this dynamic. Time and time again, you have encountered darkness in its many forms, and yet you continue to stand unwavering. Unlike those before you who fell prey to illusion and temptation, you recognize the lesson embedded in this meeting. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. This connection is not just a challenge, it is an opportunity to break free from patterns that have held you in a cycle of conflict and submission. But your journey extends beyond yourself. As an Earth Angel, a chosen force of light, your battle with the devil mirrors a much larger awakening taking place across humanity. In facing their darkness without fear, you set off a chain reaction that ripples through the collective consciousness, inspiring others to rise, to reclaim their power, and to confront the shadows that lurk within. Do you understand the significance of what you're doing? This is not just your battle, it is a reflection of something much greater. Look at Nelson Mandela, a man who faced oppression with an unbreakable spirit. He did not fight with hate, but with truth. And because of that, he transformed not just himself, but an entire nation. Your ability to stand firm and true becomes a beacon, silently giving permission to others who are still trapped in their illusions. Now, chosen one, ask yourself, what comes next? You have unraveled the devil, you have shattered the illusion, you have held up the mirror, and now, as they stand at the edge of transformation, the final question remains, will they step into the light or will they turn away? Chosen one, your mission as an Earth Angel is not simply to walk in the light, but to illuminate the darkness for all who wander within it. You were never meant for an ordinary existence, never meant to blend into the world around you. Have you ever wondered why your path has been different? Why you have always felt like an outsider? It is because you were born with something that sets you apart, a presence that cannot be ignored, a light that cannot be dimmed, a destiny that cannot be denied. You have walked roads that others feared to tread, endured trials that would have broken the average soul, and stood in the presence of darkness without losing yourself to it. This is not by accident. Every hardship, every moment of solitude, every battle you have fought, both seen and unseen, has shaped you into the force you are today. This dynamic between you and the devil is a testament that even the most entrenched shadows can be met with understanding, that healing and transformation are not just distant dreams, but inevitable truths when the right force stands unshaken. Where others would recoil in fear, you step forward. Where others would judge, you offer clarity. You have not just faced darkness, you have understood it. And that is what makes you unlike anyone they have ever encountered. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. The ripple effect of your presence extends far beyond what you can see. Every interaction, every moment of clarity you have gifted to the devil has sent waves through realms both seen and unseen. You are breaking ancestral chains, healing karmic wounds, igniting a collective shift toward balance and unity. This moment, this encounter was never just about you and the devil. It is about something far greater. Look at Martin Luther King Jr., a man who stood in the face of oppression, not with violence, but with the unshakable force of truth. He knew that his fight was not just about one person, one law, one generation. It was about breaking cycles of injustice that had existed for centuries. And so it is with you. Your presence is not just shifting the devil's trajectory. It is sending shockwaves through the spiritual fabric of existence itself. But with this immense power comes an even greater responsibility. You are not here to save the devil, nor to lose yourself in their darkness. That is not your purpose, and that is not your burden to carry. Have you ever felt the weight of wanting to heal others, even at the cost of yourself? That is because your soul has always carried deep compassion. But you must understand, your light is not meant to be drained, it is meant to be amplified. The devil may orbit your presence, but they can only take from you what you are willing to give. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. This connection, no matter how profound, is not about losing yourself to the devil's world, but about proving that your light can thrive in it without being consumed. You were never meant to be a sacrifice. You were meant to be a force. Look at Frida Kahlo, a woman who carried the weight of her pain not as a burden but as a canvas upon which she painted her truth. She did not let suffering define her. She transformed it into something eternal. You're the same. You do not exist to be overtaken by the darkness around you. You're here to transmute it into something greater. You are not just one soul navigating this path. You are a force, a chosen one, a catalyst for change. The way you have shaken the devil is the way you have always shaken the world. By standing in truth, by standing in light, by refusing to be anything less than what you were divinely created to be. And now, the final question remains, what will you do with this power? Because the battle is no longer about them. It has always been about you. Beloved chosen one, the story of the earth angel and the devil is not one of conquest or defeat. It is not about winners and losers, nor about destroying darkness to make room for light. It is a tale of integration, of wholeness, of seeing beyond the illusions that separate what we call good and evil. You have stood in the presence of the devil and emerged, not as a victim, not as a warrior seeking vengeance, but as a force of unwavering authenticity. This journey was never about overpowering them. It was about mastering yourself. It was about recognizing that true strength does not come from resistance or force, but from embracing every aspect of who you are, the divine and the shadow, the healer and the warrior, the one who understands that even darkness, when met with truth, begins to unravel. Have you realized yet how powerful you truly are? Your ability to remain grounded, to resist the seductive pull of control and fear, is what makes you powerful beyond measure. You have shown that darkness, when met with presence and understanding, loses its grip. The devil's fascination with you is not because you are weak, but because you are whole. And in that wholeness, you have forced them to see the possibility of their own transformation, whether they choose to embrace it or not. This is no longer just your journey. It is a testament to the power of authenticity in a world ruled by illusion. You have proven that love is not about submission or domination, but about standing firm in your truth, offering light without losing yourself in the process. Do you see it now? This battle between light and dark was never about destruction. It was about balance, about integration, about seeing the beauty in the contrasts that shape us. And so, the question remains, what will you do with this power? Will you continue to stand in your truth, unwavering and fearless? Will you embrace the fact that this journey is not just yours, it is a beacon of hope for the collective? Because in handling the devil like no one else ever has, you have proven that even the deepest darkness can be met with grace. And that is a lesson the world desperately needs. If this message has resonated with you, if it has spoken to something deep within your soul, I want to take a moment to thank you for being here, for listening, for walking this path with such courage. Comment 777 as a sacred signal that you're ready to step into the next season. May you walk forward with strength. May your path be illuminated with divine wisdom. May you continue to shine in a world that needs your light. You are blessed, you are seen, you are loved,